Welcome back, everyone. In today's video, we are building a train store. I am so excited about this project. When I was younger, I had the pleasure of visiting some train stores, and I remember there being a train layout either in the basement or on the second floor. And it was a layout that club members would work on. So in today's video, we're going to incorporate that into the structure that we're going to build. So it will be a train store that has a club, that has a full layout. This is going to be exciting. We have a lot to do, so let's get to it. Okay, so I just finished putting bracing on the back of all the walls, and I'll have a guide in the instructions showing you where to place the bracing. But let me go over the walls really quick with you. You have these 4 walls right here with all of the windows. Okay, you have 2 long ones and 2 short ones. The short ones, the bracing goes all the way to the edge on these 2. Then these come in 1/8 on both ends, and I put 1 piece down the center. And this all fits together like this. That is the top portion of the structure. Okay, the bottom portion, these are the side walls. Now, because the engraving runs up and down, you want your bracing to go the opposite. So on these 2, the bracing is all the way to the edge, and then a small piece in the center. And again, notice the lines go up and down, and the bracing runs the opposite direction. Okay, on this one here, your lines are up and down, your bracing is this way. Now you have to be careful because you can't put your bracing at the top and bottom on every piece, because like these 2 fit together. So it would be in the way if you had bracing at the top on both pieces. So that goes like that, and then this is like this. So just make sure that your bracing is not lined up with the bracing on the wall next to it. Again, I'll have a guide in the instructions to show you where I placed all these. Okay, these are the side walls that we just looked at. This is the back wall. So again, you don't want, our side walls, we did the top and the bottom. This one, I moved it down 1/8 and it up 1/8. That way, they fit together. So that goes like that. Then there's the storefront. And then we have this structure with all the windows that's made out of clapboard that sits on top of this. Then it's hard to hold this all, but this goes here. There's a small piece here that fits right here like that. there. That goes there. You've got your back wall. So you get the picture. And again, just refer to the instructions and there'll be a full diagram. Okay, next we need to stain these walls. Oh, and I forgot to mention there's these. And I just put one piece going at an angle on both. And we have this piece that ends up going right there. So I put it all the way at the bottom and then drop this one down 1/8 so that it fits. Okay, all right, now let's go ahead and get these stained. Okay, I'm gonna go with raw umber. I don't want to go too dark with the stain because I want this building to look pretty light overall. And we're going to be using white on the upper half and yellow on the lower half. So I don't want a color too dark underneath it. So I think raw umber will look good. Okay, I've stained all of the walls. Now I'm just going to let this dry for a little bit. So I just finished painting these 4 walls with light buttermilk. Now, those go on top. The lower part of the building is yellow, but we are going to draw a line and paint the top portion of these white, and then below that line will be yellow. And you can tell here these 3 walls are all the same height. So as you can see, it goes straight across right there. Hopefully that makes sense. I'll show you after I get the line on there. And I'm actually going to use my knife to make that line. So I'll line these up. So I'm lining it up right there. I don't know if you can see that. Right in that corner right there. Want to make sure this is straight. So if you had all these lined up at the bottom, then if you went from this height to this height, that's where your line goes. Okay, so now we'll take our white and paint above that line. Okay, I've got the top of these painted white. Now I'm going to paint these 2 white. And then everything else will get painted yellow. And our trim and windows will also get painted yellow. Okay, I just finished painting all of the yellow, and I just used, it's just a regular yellow. Any light yellow will work. I then took sandpaper and lightly went over the walls in one direction, the same direction as the engraved lines. Okay, and I even did some corner trim. Okay, let's set all of these aside and we'll start on the storefront and then paint all of our doors and windows. Okay, here is the laser board. I'm going to cut out certain parts that I want white, and then I'm going to spray the rest of it with a yellow spray paint. Okay, we'll take out that piece. All of the doors that are solid, not the side of the door that has the openings in it, if that makes sense. Like this. Even this door here. All of the stuff gets white. Let's see, let's cut this out. Okay, everything else gets sprayed yellow. Okay, everything is sprayed, and I just used this. It says Summer Squash. I believe the brand Americana makes a color called Summer Squash, and it's probably really close to this, so you could get the two colors and have it match. Okay, next I'm going to spray these with a white primer, and then I'll sponge on the light buttermilk so that it matches the white. But I just want to point this out. There is the storefront. This one has the cross sections where this one, it's not cut out, but you can see that part gets removed. That gets put on top of this. Okay, so this gets white. This rectangle here, 3 regular doors, and this door. Okay, I just brushed over all of this with the yellow so that it'll match. Now I think I need to, I'm going to take some desert sand and this color called iced coffee, and I might mix these two together and do some sponging or dry brushing to give it a little bit of wood grain so it looks like the paint's chipping, so that it matches our walls a little bit better. Okay, it's getting closer to matching it. Okay, I just glued on all of the window frames, and then I painted the inside of the window frame. And I did that on everything. Okay, now we're going to take desert sand and a sponge, and we're going to do some chipping. You know, it's kind of light, so I'm going to mix a little bit of this iced coffee with it. Okay, now for the windows. So we're just going to simply cut these out, and then what we'll do is we'll glue these all on a full sheet of acetate, and then cut them slightly bigger than the window. That way we can put them on from the back side, and because the acetate's bigger, it won't fall through. So just put on your favorite music and get all the windows done. It really doesn't take as long as what you think it would, especially with some blues playing in the background. Okay, let me show you how I do my windows. So I take the clear piece of acetate, then I take some super glue, put it on a scrap piece of wood or a scrap piece of plastic. I'm putting it on an area on my palette that has a lot of dried acrylic paint, so it's actually not going to stick to the palette here. I can peel off the acrylic paint. This whole layer will peel off and the glue will come with it. Okay, so pick up a window. I put each end. Lay it down. So again, I dip the top, the bottom, and then I kind of dab it so there's not a whole bunch of glue on it. Lay it on there. And it really goes pretty quick. Okay, I'll get all these done. Oh, and make sure you leave enough room between them so that you can cut it a little bigger than the window. Okay, I've almost got the windows glued down, and I wanted to show you quick that you'll see there's a couple spaces where there's no window, and the reason is that I dipped it in the glue, and then when I put it down, it slid, it moved, and it smeared the glue, and when it dries, the super glue will turn the acetate white. So I just simply picked it up, moved it over, and put it down. Same here. So just be aware of that when you're doing this. So when you set it down, you don't want it to move. And if it does move, just pick it up, move it over, put it down again. All right, I'll finish this and then we'll cut these out and get them glued into all the window openings. Okay, our windows are all glued on. Now we just take scissors and cut in between them all. And again, you just want it slightly bigger than the window. Okay, the windows are all glued in. I even put in some window shades. All right, let's start to glue our walls together. Okay, here we are so far. I built the lower part first, and I'm sorry, when I went to put this together, I'm like, I'm missing a wall. It's this one right here. So this lower section, build that upside down, like this. So you have this wall, another wall just like that, solid, right there. And then you have this back wall. So you have those four walls, and all of the engraving is up and down like that. Okay, so glue those together. Then glue your top four walls together, and those are all clapboard. And make sure when you glue it together that your clapboard is going the correct direction. Then when that's done, glue that on top of the bottom section. Then put in your 4 corner trim pieces. Okay? Then take this side wall here and glue this one to the front of it, and glue this one to the back corner. Then when that's dry, glue on this thin one. Then when all of it's dry, oh, and I forgot this one up here too, with the window. That whole thing can be glued to the side of the building. Now we have a storefront. We still have to add 2 decorative pieces on the top. But I just wanted to show you quick that that gets glued right onto the front. Now there's a piece of trim, a ledge that goes on there, so you won't see the top of that. Don't forget your corner trim right there. All the way down right there. And then this back corner all the way down. So you can build that whole side structure separately and then glue it to the side. I wanted to point out that in the kit, yours, the lines will go this way, like this, instead of up and down. It'll go across. I feel like maybe I should take this off if I can and put the correct one on. Okay, I put the new piece in there, so that's what the kit looks like. Okay, I've got the roof cards on. I painted the underside of the roof cards yellow. The top one gets cut flush with the front because I just made this. There's a base that goes under this, and in the base, these parts are in it that you cut out from the base. They're like sitting under here. So you just glue this together, and I think these are half inch apart. Yeah, they're half inch apart. So every half inch, mark it and glue those. Okay, now I'm going to spray this with a tan color, and then I'll spray yellow over it. If I spray this now with just yellow, it'll be too bright. It won't match everything that's on here. So again, I'm going to spray this tan, then spray it yellow, and glue it on. Okay, it's painted, and I did some chipping to it. So remember, when you put the roof card on, make sure it's flush in the front, and there's only overhang on the 2 sides in the back. Okay, I finished up the storefront. I put a piece of acetate behind it, and then taped in the store image. The top is made up of 2 pieces. I don't know if you can see that. So there's a flat piece that gets glued on there, and then a cap that goes on top, and the cap covers the thickness of the wall material. Now we'll just simply glue that right there. That piece that I was just talking about, the straight piece that goes on the front and then the cap that's on top, they are located in the base of this. There's a white cardboard piece that you get that is the base and the sidewalk, and in the middle of it, those 2 pieces are there, and all the pieces to make this are also in it. Okay, let's get some signs. I've got all my signs cut out. And after I cut my signs out, what I did was I took you can take a black Sharpie. I didn't have one on hand. I just had this cool gray number 4 marker. And I went over the edges of all the signs. Okay, the signs are on. And I did some sponging of yellow over them just a little bit. I also put in the door here and then the back door right there. Okay, what's next? Let's get our black tar paper roof put on. Then we have a roof access shed to build up here, and then we have a billboard, a rooftop sign to put up here. We're almost done. Oh, and then we have a set of fire escapes that go down the side. Okay, the tar paper is all put on. You can see I just cut it in strips and glued them. I glued them side by side here, and on this roof I glued them side by side, and on here I slightly overlapped them a little bit. And there's no corner trim up here. It's just the 2 pieces with the door glued in between them. And the only place that gets trim is underneath the roof here on the very top. Okay, I did some light weathering along the bottom, did a little bit of streaking down the sides. You could definitely add more signs to the back if you wanted to. Okay, now there's a fire escape that goes down this side, and then we have a billboard that goes on the rooftop. And I've already built this part of it. So very simple. You just glue one on each end and one in the middle. And they all go this direction. I'm going to spray this, and then there is a sign that gets glued on the front. I'm actually going to glue that now and spray it all the same color. Then there's a paper sign in the instructions that you cut out, and that'll get glued to the front. Okay, and I also have a chimney and a vent that gets glued on the side, and the chimney gets glued on the top. So let me get all this spray painted, and then we'll come back and glue it all in place. Okay, our billboard is glued in place. I sprayed the frame and our detail parts with a reddish brown primer. I then took gunmetal gray and dry brushed over it. Okay, all that's left is to build our fire escape and glue it to the side. Okay, the model is finished. I almost forgot to put it on the base. I painted the sidewalk and the curb. I added this sign here and this sign right here. This would be a great train store. And notice the sign. Club train layout, second floor. So imagine the second floor would probably be right here. The bottom of the window, if there was windows, would sit probably right here. So the second floor is in here. And that's one giant train layout. The club meets one night a week, and then on the weekends, the club members come and work on the layout. And they have operating sessions. And then, like the sign says, club members receive an in-store discount. This would be so much fun. All right, let me take the camera off and give you a closer look. I hope you enjoyed today's video. This project was so much fun. I truly wish this structure existed in real life. And don't forget, if you are a paid Patreon member, you receive a discount on all new product from the website. All right, well, a big thank you to all of my Patreon members. I truly appreciate all of you. So don't forget, this structure is currently available on my website at jasonjensentrains.com. All right, well, until next time, stay motivated and happy modeling, everyone.